Brodes Media.
Yes, as Mark Zumoff would say. What a beautiful victory for the Sixers. Before we attack all the action, right now on Twitter, at Brodes81, I am giving away a Joel Embiid jersey. It's a no-brainer to enter to win. There's a pinned tweet at the top of my profile that explains the rules. You have to follow me, follow at Brodes Media, and retweet the tweet. It's that simple. Every Wednesday, a winner is selected and a new giveaway becomes available. So seriously, make sure you are entered to win. Next, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. Also, hit the like button too. The Sixers are on a roll, and they just played Anthony Tolliver in a playoff game. That deserves that like button smash. Come on now. Come on. Oh, I love it. I'm so excited. Thank you all so much. And hey, enjoy the podcast. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes Dominance. That's the way you describe that. A number 1 seed versus a number 8 seed and beating them down, making them feel like a useless piece of garbage and stepping on their throats. And that's exactly how the Sixers played this one out. It was never a contest, seriously. Even when Bradley Beal went off, and he did go off. He had over 20 points in the first half, and he was knocking down his shots. He had Tobias Harris one-on-one and turned him around like it was nothing. Easy finish off the glass. And still, with him exploding the way that he did, they still had no opportunity whatsoever. One man goes into foul trouble. Here comes Bertans. Bertans gives you 0 points and fouls out on top of that. So Hachimura had to come back in and all. I mean, they had nothing. They could not handle this whatsoever. It was clear they were not going to let Joel Embiid beat them early, and that's what opened up the floor for the rest of the guys. Ben Simmons being aggressive, and Ben Simmons was flat out sensational. That's the Ben Simmons that I admire so much, and I loved every single aspect of his game. What stands out to me is willingness, the willingness to take control of a mismatch. You have a 6'10 body frame. Who's on you? Oh, it doesn't matter because you can attack at will. Doesn't matter if it's Bradley Beal. It doesn't matter if it's anyone. Does not matter who is on you, Ben Simmons. Explode, be aggressive, go downhill. How about when he is in mid-stride going towards the rim? He moves the ball from his left to his right and he monster slams it. It's not the same. It doesn't give the same feel of like a James Harden Euro or a Joel Embiid Euro in its purest form, but he brings his arms over his shoulders and he slams it down and gives you the big flex. Ben Simmons was ridiculously solid. There will be no nitpicking from my angle whatsoever. That's the Ben Simmons that I just want to see more consistently. That's the Ben Simmons that I know is in there, and that's why I get annoyed when I don't see it. When I don't see Ben looking at a matchup that he can abuse every single possession. Let me say that again. Every single possession. And he feels the need to kick it out instead or to give it to a teammate that swarmed or to stop on a fast break. There's no reason to, Ben. Why? Because you can give this team 22, 9, and 8. And he was so damn successful in this game. It was unreal. That's the Ben Simmons that I fell in love with so many damn years ago. It's not about the shooting from distance. It's not about jacking up threes. He had that one weird-looking jumper when he was fading to his left and he turned his body early in the game. But other than that, it was all right in front of the rim. It was all right there. Now, obviously, we understand that Raul Neto and Alex Len and this team, Russell Westbrook, who stinks, by the way. Russell Westbrook stinks. How many times do I have to say that this man is not good? Don't tell me about his triple-double threat. You can have triple-doubles all you damn want. You are so inefficient. You are not very good. He goes 2 of 10, and whatever happened with the popcorn, that's a joke. Shame on the fan for pouring popcorn on a player. That's just embarrassing. That's so immature, and that's pathetic, and it's stupid. And now we know the narrative is all going to be thrown on, hey, Philadelphia is pouring food on players, and we're not all that way. So, unfortunately, 1 or 2 people end up making such a poor decision, and it's going to affect the rest of us. That guy should be embarrassed for the rest of his life, never allowed back at the Wells Fargo Center. I don't know what's going to happen to him, but it's a joke. It really is. What's also is a joke is Russell Westbrook's game, though. Go ahead, Bradley Beal. Do whatever you want to do out there. We watched you score 60 and lose. You can score 33 and lose. He had 24 points at the half. Other than that, I mean, you really had nothing. This is what it's supposed to be. This is how the game should be played out. This is why I said in the beginning of the series, there's no way in hell that this Sixers team is going to lose to an 8th seed team. This is one of the reasons why I watch those playing games. Yawning my ass off because whatever team ended up being the 8th seed was going to get annihilated, and we are all putting our feet up, relaxing. We watched Anthony Tolliver play in this basketball game. We watched the back end of the bench in Paul Reed run some minutes out there. Mike Scott had some action. This was an absolute blowout, a 25-point blowout, and that's the Sixers handling business and making a statement. You watch the Brooklyn Nets do the same exact thing after their first half against the Celtics in Game 1. After that, it's been all Brooklyn Nets. The first game, Miami versus Milwaukee, we can all agree that Milwaukee and Miami, that's a totally different level of competition. Playing the Heat is significantly different than playing a shitty Boston Celtics team and playing this useless, and I mean useless, Washington Wizards team. So, if they do lose a game here or they have a tough stretch throughout here and there, I mean, it makes sense, and it's not a statement on the Milwaukee Bucks, and it does not describe them in some huge negative way, but you did see them come out with those barrage of threes early in Game 2, first quarter, and put the game away. All of these three teams that we are looking at as the championship caliber team out of the East, whatever squad is going to make it to the NBA Finals, there's three teams, and they all somewhat countered whatever happened in that first game, whether it was the Sixers having to pull away in the second half in Game 1 when they were down at halftime, whether it was the same thing for the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant and James Harden and Kyrie Irving in the first half against the Celtics, and then that was that double overtime? No, it was normal overtime. It was standard overtime where Chris Middleton made that shot against the Heat. Since then, the teams have all kind of countered with explosive nights. So I just like that the Sixers are keeping up pace with everybody else in regards to that. They were ridiculous. Joel Embiid finished the night with 3 of 4 from 3, a couple air humps, and standing at the middle of the court, pretty much looking up at the crowd, egging them on, saying, "Let's go, baby! Let's go!" Getting the crowd to erupt. And he's bringing the energy, he's bringing the passion. It took him a bit of time to figure out how he was essentially going to attack for the night. But once he did get into groove and into a rhythm, he was fine. Early on, I saw a couple passes where he was getting double-teamed. He was waiting to see where exactly it was going to come from. And when he recognized, he would either try and go to that far corner to a shooter. If it's Seth Curry, if it's Danny Green, he was trying to look around and find that guy on the other side of the court. It was a feel-out process. What are the Wizards going to do, and how am I going to find my teammate properly? Where should I look when they come from these certain angles? And after that, Joel Embiid finished off the night with 22 and 7. The hump is amazing. The DX, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H, like D-Generation X. If you don't even know what that is, I feel sorry for you, because nowadays, WWE isn't even close to what it was back in the day. And even the Shawn Michaels and Triple H era, while that was phenomenal, as well as with Rey Mysterio, Booker T, John Cena, all those guys, even prior to that with Stone Cold, The Undertaker in more of his prime, The Rock, that was even better than my era. But if you don't got the whole DX thing, man, that is beautiful. That is outstanding. And the fact that Ben Simmons drops the ball off to him. Here's Joel going full speed, finishes it through the contact, slides through the baseline, starts hump in the air. That gif that is flying around Twitter is going to be one of the best Joel Embiid clips we ever see. Where did this hump come from? I don't know where the hump came from, but it's perfection. It is masterful, and it is a craft that Joel Embiid just understands how to do it the right way. Kudos to him. The energy was there. The building was electric. And it's everything we would have anticipated it being. Tobias Harris, a couple ankle scares, huh? Tobias Harris had a quiet first half. We'll get to his production first. Very quiet first half. You look at the stat, but I say that like a quiet 16. Let me kind of rephrase that. He had a quiet 16. So he had a very good first half, but after Ben Simmons and him scoring those points, and it's clear that he hears the noise. He was asked about it after the game, and he said, "What more do you want? 15 rebounds, 15 assists." I just don't want him to run away from late game possessions because he's afraid to go to the free throw line. For everyone saying that fans are upset with only 6 points, I don't know. For me, it was never mad at just 6 points. I was mad that in late game situations, we've seen him somewhat shrivel up and be a non-factor, and the Sixers play 5-on-4, and I witnessed that happen in game 1. That's where my frustration lied. So that ties together with the 0 for 6. We want that to change because it's been such a brutal effort in the last couple of seasons anyway. But I digress because it's not about that tonight. I thought that Ben Simmons answered the critics. He responded. We've also, just to be fair, right? We've seen this happen a billion times where everyone gets on him. He hears all the noise. He hears everyone get mad at him. He hears the frustration. To him, he sees that it's ridiculous. He wants to shut everybody up. And then he'll go out there and just eliminate it all by going downhill, by being aggressive, by finishing at the rim, by showing his toughness, by showing his versatility, by defending, by having some great assists, by grabbing up the boards. I just want to see this because I know we can do this. This is where it goes back to. I know it's in there, Ben. I know that you have a beautiful brand of basketball that is more than just points, and I recognize that. When you put it all together and you make sure that you see that there's somebody on the other side that will not stop you, and oh, by the way, that's about 95% of the league that can actually shut you down. When they start building a wall, well, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to find a way to get around that without just backing off and sagging off and curling around the baseline to try and pass it to another player who's just hanging around the 3 line that might have a defender in him. You got to go, 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 go. And he did that. He did that tonight, no matter who was on him. Bertans, Bradley Beal, he gets down low, he'll have his back to the basket, he'll wait, he'll be patient, he'll utilize his legs, his footwork until something opens up and there's an angle that he can take advantage of, use his left shoulder maybe, use his right shoulder maybe, whatever side he's on, kiss it off the glass nicely. That's good stuff, Ben. I know you see that. I know you recognize it. Do it more because this is the Ben Simmons that I truly appreciate like no other. I had the biggest grin on my face. I was smiling from ear to ear. I had my big fat gallon of ice cream. It's chocolate brownie mix or something of that nature. It's so damn good. I got a big spoon too, not a little spoon, a big spoon. Just go into town with a huge smile because I was loving every second of Ben, every second of this game. The only thing that somewhat stunk was Shake Milton looking lost still, while everybody else seemed to get going. Matisse Thybulle, he had 4 steals, 5 blocks in 20 minutes. What? How? Why? I don't know, but this dude is ridiculous. Tyrese Maxey, 10 points in 14 minutes, and I knew that he was missing something during the time of no fans. This city was going to love him. This city was going to wrap our big-ass arms around him and hug him tightly and say, "You're one of us, damn it. You are a Philadelphia 76er, and we are going to love the shit out of you, whether you like it or not." And he never got to experience the rising crowd of Matt Cord calling in that Tyrese Maxey's now entering the game, or a 2-point shot made by Tyrese Maxey. How about him going to the rim? How about his footwork? The first step, bang, let me attack, bang, let me go, bang, I'm going to rip right past you. And there were so many times earlier in the season, this is just showing the natural growth of a young player, where he would come across and he would give that little floater. And that little floater's amazing. That was something that we think can totally work in this league for him. He could take the floater over defenders. If he's in that mid-range area, I mean, he excels in that area. I'm not saying we got to throw that shot into the trash and never utilize it again. That is part of his repertoire that makes Tyrese Maxey so special. But there used to be times where he would settle on the floater, and now he's getting more comfortable on many different areas of the floor, and he's not afraid. He's not afraid to kind of make sure that he's going. I mean, he's flat out going. I will not be stopped as I glide in midair and finish at the glass, as I kiss it off the window with one leg in the air and I'm soaring for about 3 seconds in midair. Crazy, it really is. Cork Moss, 16 minutes to play, 13 points. Dwight Howard, 11 rebounds in 16 minutes. George Hill, the importance of George Hill and the calming presence, slowing everything down. I cannot believe we just watched a playoff basketball game where Anthony Tolliver was seriously getting run. It felt like, and kudos to the Sixers for putting this out there, it felt like we were watching game 55 on a random Tuesday night. And that just shows the level disparity here of the two teams playing. But, it's the playoffs, and you have to handle your business. Game 1 was the chance for the Wizards to do it. There were 2 times where I think, if we were looking at this, because entering the series, I was asked, Brodes, what do you think? How many games? And I thought 5, like to demand a sweep. Sometimes some things happen, and you might fall on your face for one game. It's game 1 or it's game 3. The first game of the series, just because you overlook your opponent. But I also thought, you're at home, and you're at the Wells Fargo Center. There's no way that this team is going to lose game 1 on their home floor where there's that much emotion riding, and there's so many just variables involved in that game 1 being in South Philadelphia. I didn't think that would be the case. Game 3 is possible, though, because you go back to your home floor. Not that the Washington Wizards is an arena that I am so scared of, that I think is going to be so damning that these players aren't going to be able to operate. They are going to have 50,000, though, or 50,000, not 50,000. 50% of their betting. 50,000 would be pretty damn aggressive. That would be interesting to watch in a basketball game. Real side note here. I'm going to get sidetracked, but you know how the NHL does the Winter Classic where they play an outdoor hockey game? Or they do so many different ones now. The Stadium Series where they play outside. Could you imagine a pickup game at Rucker Park? It wouldn't be a pickup game, though. It would be an NBA game where they play outside. How was I getting there? 50,000 fans. Yeah, when you play those type of games, you play in an NFL stadium or a baseball stadium, so there's so many more fans than what you're used to at a Flyers game at the Wells Fargo Center. That's how that came up. Could you imagine an outdoor game? You're playing on concrete. You get the chain nets, so when you make a swish, it's nothing but the chain nets. That would be so damn awesome. Anyway, back on track. Where was I? I was talking about this team destroying the Wizards. Yeah, game 3. I guess this is one of the 2 opportunities that you would think in theory, or I guess it could be game 4 as well. We could throw a third possibility in the mix only because you're up 3-0 in that case, and you think, well, if they are going to steal one, they have their backs against the wall. The problem is they actually need more talent. I don't know how they're going to get it done. Bradley Beal is leaving every single piece of sweat in his body on the floor. Every puddle of sweat that is inside of him is left on the floor, and with that, they have no chance, and they're losing by 25 points. Russell Westbrook is their best option, and he blows. Can we please stop talking about Russell Westbrook as if he is actually some player that can change your playoff run and you can change the trajectory of where your franchise is going? He does not result in a winning product. His play, it's embarrassing watching him take shots. When he takes shots, I laugh. When he's out by the perimeter and he's pump faking, I'm like, what? Not one guy bite, Russell. Not one guy went out there and bit for a half a second. Why? Because we want you to shoot the ball. Because you suck at shooting the basketball from 3. The only way you were getting your points is because you were getting so many damn foul calls early on where he kept getting trips to the charity line. And other than that, he's not efficient. He's missing all sorts of mid-range jumpers. Not as many hideous shots off the glass that we saw in game 1. How about him trying to angle it all cute and all pretty in game 1? Well, yeah, I think there's a reason why we didn't see as many in game 2. Probably because he recognized this is hurting my team. It's a shame he doesn't realize that in other areas too. But he ended up leaving, and I never want to see injury for anybody, but he did end up leaving the game. So I was going to bring this up earlier when I was talking about Tobias and his quiet 16 points. He finished with 19 total. He had a bit of an ankle scare. His did not look terrible. His did not look insanely worrisome. He was limping and he was somewhat chatting because he couldn't get back on defense. So he was screaming at some guys, and then finally a timeout was called. So you saw all that transpire, and he ended up going to the bench and going out of the game and all. But then Seth Curry later on had a really brutal one where you watched him. The camera was strictly on him on the bench, and he was walking as he was, at least he was attempting to walk. He took about 3 or 4 steps, and then it was, I can't move. And people had to actually lift him up and essentially walk him out towards the locker room. It was no longer him limping and him just having some sort of ankle lingering issue. Like, it looked severe. I'll say the Seth Curry one looked severe. So I don't know what the update is on him. I don't know what the status is at this very moment. I'm not sure if Doc Rivers was asked about it or if he had any information. I'm sure he doesn't have too much info right now. We will get more data, and I guess data is not the right word, but I'm sure we will get something from the coach and something from the team before Saturday's game where they head on over to Washington, D.C. to try and close this thing out in 4 games. But, yeah, the Seth Curry thing's an issue. You know, if he's out, I was thinking, who would slide into the starting rotation if Seth Curry is out? Would they go with just entering the next guy in, which would be George Hill? That would change the whole dynamic. What I honestly think would happen is, I don't think it would be George Hill. I'm just saying, like, that would be like your next ready-to-go NBA player in a starting 5 rotation. But what does Seth Curry do? He spaces the floor, right? He hangs out by the perimeter. He hangs out in the corner. Would you see a scenario where Furkan Korkmaz, just because of if you think of the team, who would be able to duplicate Seth Curry the most just out of playing style, hang out in the corner? That's probably maybe what would happen. I mean, there's many options. Matisse Thybulle, because he's been swarming you to death and giving you that Swiss Army knife. I thought Doc did say something pretty interesting. Lou Will was your walking bucket off the bench. Well, to a degree, Matisse Thybulle's the same thing, except instead of the offensive production, he just brings that same level of elite offense to the defensive side. Let me say this again. 4 steals and 5 blocks in 20 minutes, whether it's out by the 3-point line, just having his hands in the mix and you can't get your shot off. It hits his fingertips as the shot clock violation goes on. I mean, it's just it's outrageous. I've never seen anything like Matisse Thybulle's defense. The quickness, the explosiveness, the recovery time, and just being in the right areas and knowing when to take that risk, the calculated risks. I'm not saying it's perfect, but he also is figuring it out on the fly, and he's also learning and adapting and growing as a player. You saw him shoot some threes. I just keep taking a look on the potential attempts of it all. You know, he made a couple shots. He finished with a handful of points. The more points you can get out of Matisse Thybulle, the better it is, because that's the added bonus for sure. Crazy is the way to describe this game. You know, just absolutely annihilating a team that they should. We're going to take some anytime hotline calls. First, my friends at DeSimone Jewelers are the best in the business. I went to them for my fiance's engagement ring. I went to them for her Christmas gift, which was a beautiful necklace. And how about her birthday, where I got some earrings? DeSimone Jewelers, I will never go to another jeweler again in my life. They're family-owned business, 40-plus years of experience. They moved from Jewelers Row to Haddonfield, New Jersey. No sale tactics. They sit there and they educate you, and they treat you like family, which is the most important thing to me. They customize and manufacture every ring they make from start to finish, and because of that, they're able to beat competitors' prices. I'm not making this story up. One of my buddies went and got his engagement ring for his fiance at another spot. I'm like, yo, dude, you know, we were talking. He was like, yeah, I spent this. And I'm like, whoa. What? Return that? You're going with me. Let's go. I'll take you there. All right? I'll take you there. Goes there. Double the size of the diamond. Cut the money in half. DeSimone Jewelers, check out their information, their website, and their phone numbers down below. Tell them that Brodes sent you. All right? I'm telling you, your life will be changed. All right, the Anytime Hotline. I can't wait. Here we go. Let's hear from you. How did you feel after this beatdown?
It's very rare that you have a game where you have literally nothing to complain about whatsoever. I mean, the entire team played amazing. Defense was great. Matisse Thybulle were just bullying them. He was just like taking their lunch money. And this series, I feel like at this point the Wizards are like going to be like no more at this point. So it seems like we're pretty comfortable situation, and let's just finish off the series by winning 2 games in Washington.
Yeah, if you're the Washington Wizards, I mean, look, you know you're undermatched, right? It's not like they really thought that they had more talent than the Sixers. Even with their hot streak of 15 of 20 games entering the postseason run, I'm sure they had some confidence, like, hey, maybe we can do this thing. And after game 1, that all goes to bed, and then you recognize, wait, no, that's right. Nope, we're not playing in a play-in round anymore. This is actually the playoffs, and this is the number 1 seed. You've given everything you got. I don't know what many options you have. What can you change? What can you switch? How can you run your offense? How can you get more out of Bradley Beal? Who else could you rely on? what can you switch with your defensive matchups? You can try other things, but at this point, I'm sure you've given your best shot and you swung the best way that you possibly could, right? And you just don't have that option. So just looking through man, I'll tell you what. Some of these guys are out there. I'm like, wow, Cassius Winston is playing some NBA playoff minutes towards the end. Garrison Matthews, Anthony Gill, Isaac is out there for 4 minutes. I mean, really, what are we doing here, people? What type of basketball game are we watching? Once you start throwing out that slop towards the end, I know you're waving the white flag, and you should be. You don't want to throw any of your actual players out there and risk anything in a handful of minutes when you're already down 20 plus. But it's like, what more can we possibly do? I don't have any faith left in us because we tried to get all the points out of Bradley Beal. We tried this. We tried that. We went down this road. We tried this assignment. That assignment didn't work. We don't have the options to stop them at all. So it's basically a ticking time bomb, and everybody wants it to be over with if you're on the Washington side. I mean, come on. You're sitting there tonight, I'm sure, with your with your wife, with your kids, and say you're just laying in bed if you're on the Wizards going, damn it, can it be over already? Because I don't feel like getting my ass kicked anymore. You don't have it. And it makes sense that you don't have it.
That was a tour de force. The Sixers were working on all cylinders, and it was beautiful to watch. Probably one of the best playoff games they played in a while. I want to get to my boy, Ben Simmons, who I've been hard on all year, but I got to say, this is the Ben Simmons I want to see. Aggressive at the rim, playing bully basketball. I know he doesn't have a shot, but take what the defense gives you. They give that switch, you post them up, and you posterize them every time. And if this has to be the standard for Ben Simmons, if he doesn't play like this every game, we got to call him out. But if he plays like this, I can't wait for this next matchup because this is going to be a great showdown. Great win by the Sixers. I want to see more of this. Please.
I love that. I think that's a great call, honestly. I really do. I think that kind of sets the tone perfectly for where I'm at. Some would label me a Ben Simmons hater, but that's not the case because I know he's special. The Ben Simmons haters thinks that he sucks and he's horrendous and he does nothing good and what he does do well doesn't really matter and doesn't translate to winning basketball. I disagree. I see all that. I really do. It's like you're labeled one way if you're in the middle and you see both sides. Like, I see why Ben Simmons haters look at him and are frustrated and have concerns. And I see why Ben Simmons lovers love him like no other and would die on the hill of Ben Simmons. Like, I truly do see both sides of it. But for me personally, I'm not a hater. I'm really not a hater. This game of Ben Simmons was probably like the perfect description of what I want to see out of Ben night in and night out. Giving you 20-plus points, dominating, and he can do that. Like, don't tell me that he can't do this against another team because he can. He can do this against another team. He can do this against the Brooklyn Nets. He can do this against opposing squad. He can. This isn't just because of the Washington Wizards. Why? Let me ask you this. Why was Ben able to explode the way that he did? Because he took advantage of his mismatches. Well, I guarantee you that 6'10" body frame has mismatches in pretty much every single damn matchup that you can think of in the NBA. So the only reason why he was different it's like the mismatches, he's special. He's a large individual who can dribble like no other, who's got great vision, who's a threat when he's going downhill with that much speed. He's crazy good. Mismatches. That's basketball 101. And Ben is going to have that in 99% of the games that he plays. So it's there for him to take. It's just, is he willing to take it? Is he not willing to take it? And I think he was extra motivated tonight because he understood that the sports radio world was crucifying him after a 15-rebound game, a 15-assist game with 6 points, 0 for 6, and he did not like that. So he took the initiative to double flip the bird. We want to talk about the gentleman that flipped the double bird to Russell Westbrook. That's what Ben Simmons wanted to do tonight to all of us fans that get hard on him. Well, he did it. The problem is, I want this to be Ben because it can be Ben. And if this is Ben, you win by 25. I don't think it's ironic that the night Ben put this on display, you win by 25. And you go to your bench and you let it cruise, and you get your good old-fashioned load management. By the way, I guess I didn't look at how many minutes. Russell Westbrook ended up getting hurt, right? So he only played 29, but the other night, they both played over 40. They both played heavy minutes. And I said, just watch it wear them down. It's going to tear their bodies apart. Bradley Beal played 35, so he's getting up there with the amount of minutes logged in. Let's go to another call.
Hey, what a game from the Sixers. Ben, he's putting up a game after, he had a great game one. Didn't put up the points he wanted, but he does everything else so good. Well, he heard us talk in this game. It was nice seeing all the starters getting their minutes down. Some old school load management. Going to need that for the rest of the playoffs. Hope Seth's okay. I know he made it back to the bench, so hopefully he'll be back for game 3. If not, we can probably get the Wizards fine, but hopefully he's okay. Anyway, go Sixers.
Yeah, the Seth thing, it would be more of a long-term worry than it is a this series worry. You can get by. You just watch this team go on a crazy run at the end with Tyrese Maxey out there, with Dwight Howard. And, I mean, come on, man. This story of Tyrese Maxey is just absolutely awesome. He deserves to take over Shake Milton's minutes at this point. I kept stressing over and over again that he's too young, he's too raw. But Shake Milton, if you're going to look uncomfortable in this type of effort, it's only right and just to have Maxey get an attempt. There's going to be a difference, there's going to be a shock factor, I'm sure. Maybe not even next round, but if he ever gets his number called later on, which, then it would scare me a little bit more, and that's a whole different conversation for another day. But I do find it funny that I'm sure in his mind he's thinking, this is playoff basketball? Taking jump shots and looking at lanes that he can easily just run through. And he's like, really? This is what everybody told me about? And then he'll watch Kevin Durant on the sidelines went in and go, oh, wait, never mind. Hold on. This is what everybody told me about. This is playoff basketball. Huge difference. But credit to this team for just being in this position in general. This was a fun game. I genuinely appreciated every moment of this game. In years past, when they faced the Brooklyn Nets in round 1 and when they faced the Miami Heat in round 1, there was a level of adrenaline, there was a level of nervousness, excitement, anxiousness, because it was playoff ball, and you're watching this young core grow, and you didn't really know where they were going to land, and could they win that series? Were they ready to win that series? Who were they? What are they? So many question marks. This team, not as many question marks. So when you watch these games, it's crazy that we are experiencing playoff basketball, but it's a nonchalant playoff basketball. Credit to them for being so damn good, for being so damn prepared, for executing so damn well, for being so magnificent, for knowing where to be at all times. This is credit to them, but it's just funny as fans. Think about how you felt playing the Brooklyn Nets last year, or 2 years ago, I should say. Think about those playoff runs in years past where that's normal. I'm not saying that was wrong. It was right at the time. Anxious, young core, playoff runs, excited, anxiety, this and that, dribbling, every dribble, you're nervous, you're biting your fingernail. You don't have that here. It's literally ice cream, gallon of it, sitting right there on your lap. Big spoon. Feeding the dog. Big spoon. Feeding the dog. Although not the chocolate, because that's not good for him. By the way, we are on the Anytime Hotline, as you all know. The Anytime Hotline is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. They are home to your solar experts. If you're looking for $0 electric bills, that's where you go. Water purification systems, clean, healthy water for you and your family. Battery storage, backup energy services, tree removals, electrical upgrades, you name it. If you're looking to upgrade your home, you live in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, Florida. Orbit Energy and Power. OrbitEnergy.us, 800-836-3987. One more time, 800-836-3987 is their phone number. All right, let's continue with another call, shall we?
Great win for the boys tonight. You already know. It's actually funny. My brother's actually a Wizards fan, and, he was trash talking the whole game, but much well-deserved win for the boys tonight. Ben Simmons played amazing. Joel Embiid, you already know. Kind of scared me when Tobias Harris, got injured, but it's okay. He came back, played great. Well-deserved win for the boys tonight. Go Sixers. Let's go.
It's pretty crazy. When I did watch Tobias Harris walk off the floor, there was a side of me that just recognized, wow, my heart's in my gut, or my feelings right now. Like, I just have a bad feeling because you never want to see someone walk off the floor. But it just shows you how far Tobias Harris has really come in this city. When Tobias Harris goes out, it's gasps. It's, oh, no. It's, what? Not Tobias. Think about that. Think about the growth of Tobi, and I'm just really appreciative of him himself. Because I've been in a lot of situations in my career when I was playing as an athlete, not basketball, but when I was playing college hockey. And there were some dark times, and there were some really negative times towards the end where I was a healthy scratch, and I wasn't playing much, and I really had to earn my spot in the lineup, and I wasn't getting that chance, and it was dark. I mean, your whole life you play hockey, you get to the college hockey level. I played a lot my freshman year. I get to my sophomore year. I kind of lost my role, and I was in a deep, deep, deep level of where am I? What am I going to do? And it's not easy. And I know it's just sports, and there's so many other issues in life other than sports, but when you play sports, that is your life. I played from 4 to 22 years old. I didn't know anything else at that time. The only thing on my brain was hockey, 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 hockey. The only thing that mattered to me. So I watch him and I see someone go through, and look, nobody was calling for my head playing D3 NCAA hockey. You get 35 billion Philadelphia sports fans ripping your ass into shreds every day. It's a lot different, and I know how painful it was. My point is this. I know I keep going on and on. I applaud the hell out of you, Tobias, because that's not an easy transition. And it takes a lot within. It takes a lot of self-assessment. It takes a lot of changing your approach and changing your mentality and determination and dedication and putting your head down and making sure not, oh, maybe it'll be better next year. It's, I am going to make it better next year. I demand myself to make sure it's better. And I'm going to do anything and everything to live up to this contract and make everyone in Philadelphia love me more than they ever loved anybody before. I'm just hypothetically saying, right? Him, with that mindset, it just deserves this right here. It just deserves this. What the hell was that? Did my lights just go off? We're clapping? Do I have the clap on, clap offs? I don't want to try that again. I'm nervous. Wow. If you're listening to this on YouTube and not on the audio versions, which is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and other podcasting platforms, I started clapping really hard, and the lights started flicking. I also know it's thunderstorming. So I was about 35 minutes into recording this podcast. If I ended up losing that, I would have lost my damn mind. So I'm not going to keep going on much longer because I don't want to lose anything at this point, and I would absolutely cry if that's the case. So we do have some more Anytime Hotline calls. I'm going to utilize them in my next podcast, which will be before Saturday. We're going to readdress the series, talk more about things. So if you haven't called, 856-442-9805 is the phone number. You can call in after listening to this podcast, because I will probably have something up. I'm going to say, what is today, Wednesday night? Probably in that Friday area, we'll get another Sixers podcast. So, hey, call in. We'll utilize more calls then. We're going to head out of here. Real quickly, though, DraftKings, it's playoff time. Big stakes, bigger promotions. DraftKings Sportsbook is putting you courtside with a chance to turn $5 into $200. That's 40-1 odds on any basketball game. All you have to do is pick any team that is still in the hunt for the trophy, and if that team wins, you receive $200 in free credits. That's right. Pick any team that is still in contention. Bet $5, and if that team wins, you cash $200 in free credits. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes when you sign up to turn $5 into $200 in free credits. Bet on any basketball team of your choice to win their next game, and if they do, you claim $200 in free credits. That's promo code Brodes for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Wager paid out in site credits. Restrictions apply in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.